The empty space near the Void Nebula was cold and dark. Captain Yoon Tai-ho sat in his command chair, watching the stars through the main screen of his ship. His blue skin marked him as one of the Kalari people, and his forearms moved quickly over the control panels. He had been exploring this part of space for 3 weeks now, looking for old alien ruins. "Captain," called out his science officer, "we are getting some strange readings from Sector 7. Yoon Tai-ho turned his large head toward the officer. "What kind of readings?" "Energy signals, sir. Very old ones, but they are still active." The eye. Captain felt his heart beat faster. Active energy signals in this empty part of space could mean treasure. Old alien technology was worth millions of credits to the right buyers. He pressed a button on his chair. "Dr. Kang Sora, please come to the bridge," he said into his communicator. A few minutes later, a human woman walked onto the bridge. She was small compared to the other aliens on the ship, with black hair tied back and dark eyes that missed nothing. Dr. Kang Sora was the only human on this mission, and many of the crew still thought humans were a weak species. "You called for me, Captain?" she asked in her soft voice. "Yes, Doctor, we found something." "Show her the readings," Yoon Tai-ho told his science officer. Dr. Kang Sora looked at the data on the screen. Her eyes grew wide. "These energy patterns, they are very old, maybe thousands of years old. But look at this power level. Whatever is making these signals must be huge." "Can we find the source?" asked the captain. "Yes, sir. It is about 2 hours away at current speed." Commander Baek Jin-woo entered the bridge at that moment. He was the other human on the ship, sent by Earth's government to watch over their interests. He was tall and strong, with scars on his hands from old battles. Unlike Dr. Kang Sora, who studied old things, Commander Baek was a soldier. "What is happening?" he asked. "We found something big," Dr. Kang Sora told him. "The energy readings are unlike anything I have seen before." Commander Beck looked at the data. Something about the patterns felt familiar, but he could not say why. "Captain, I think we should be careful. Energy this strong could be dangerous." Captain Yoon Tai-ho laughed. "Commander, your people worry too much. The Kalari have been exploring space for over 1,000 years. We know how to handle old alien technology." The ship moved through space toward the energy source. As they got closer, the readings became stronger. Soon their sensors picked up something massive ahead of them. "Captain," the science officer said, his voice shaking, "you need to see this." On the main screen appeared the biggest warship any of them had ever seen. It was black as the space around it, with smooth lines that looked like a hunting animal ready to strike. The ship was at least 5 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. Strange symbols covered its hull, glowing softly with blue light. "By the 7 moons," whispered Captain Yoon Tai-ho. "What is that thing?" Dr. Kang Sora stared at the ship. Something about its design made her think of home, of Earth. But that was impossible. Humans had only been traveling to other stars for 50 years. This ship looked ancient. "Captain, I am reading no life signs," reported the science officer. "The ship appears to be empty, but its power core is still active." "A ghost ship," said Commander Baek quietly, "drifting in space for who knows how long." As their ship moved closer, they could see more details. The warship had weapon systems that looked advanced beyond anything in the galaxy. Its hull was made of materials that their sensors could not identify. And there, near the front of the ship, were symbols that made Dr. Kang Sora's heart stop. "Captain," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I need to see those symbols, up close." "What symbols?" asked Yoon Tai-ho. "They are on the hull. Can you make the image bigger?" The science officer zoomed in on the front section of the ghost ship. The symbols became clear, and Dr. Kang Sora felt like she could not breathe. "HDS Vengeance," she read out loud. "What does that mean?" asked the captain. "HDS stands for Human Defense Ship," Commander Baek said slowly. "But that cannot be right. This ship is thousands of years old. Humans were still using stone tools thousands of years ago." Dr. Kang Sora looked closer at the screen. Below the main symbols were smaller ones, letters from Earth's alphabet. worn down by cosmic dust and radiation but still readable. "Those are human letters," she said. "This is a human ship." Captain Yoon Tai-ho made a sound like laughter. "Doctor, that is impossible. Your people barely know how to fix their own space toilets. This ship has technology that makes our best warships look like toys." "I know what I'm seeing," Dr. Kang Sora said firmly. "This is human writing. This is a human ship." The bridge went quiet. Everyone stared at the massive warship on the screen. If Dr. Kang Sora was right, then everything they knew about humans was wrong. "Sir," the science officer said suddenly, "the ship is scanning us." "What?" Captain Yoon Tai-ho jumped up from his chair. "That ship is dead. You said there were no life signs." "There are no life signs, but something is scanning our ship. The energy readings are getting stronger." Commander Bayek felt a chill run down his back. "Captain, we should leave. Now." "No," said Dr. Kang Sora. "This is the discovery of a lifetime. We have to learn more about this ship." As if it heard her words, the ghost ship began to change. Light started to flow through its hull like blood through veins. The blue symbols grew brighter. And deep inside the massive warship, something that had been sleeping for thousands of years began to wake up. "Captain," the science officer said, fear clear in his voice. "The ship, it is powering up." The Vengeance slowly turned toward their small exploration ship. Its weapons remained silent, but the message was clear. The ghost ship was aware of them now. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked the pilot. Captain Yoon Tai-ho looked at the massive warship, then at Dr. Kang Sora, then at Commander Beck. None of them had any idea what they had found, but they all knew one thing. Their lives had just changed forever. The ghost ship waited in the darkness, patient as death itself. And somewhere deep inside its metal heart, ancient systems began to remember their purpose. The HDS Vengeance was no longer sleeping. It was hunting. End of Part 1. The ghost ship's lights pulsed like a heartbeat. Captain Yoon Tai-ho stared at the massive warship through his bridge window. The HDS Vengeance was now fully lit up, its hull glowing with strange blue energy. "Sir, the ship is sending us a signal," said the communications officer. "What kind of signal?" asked the captain. It is speaking to us in the old Galactic language, but also in human language." Dr. Kang Sora stepped forward. "What is it saying?" The officer looked confused. "It says, 'Welcome aboard. Please dock at Bay 7. Commander Baek Jin-woo shook his head. "This is wrong. Dead ships do not invite people inside." "Maybe it is not as dead as we thought," said Dr. Kang So-ra. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "Captain, we have to go aboard. This could change everything we know about human history." Captain Yoon Tai-ho thought for a moment. The ship was clearly dangerous, but it was also the biggest discovery of his career. "Very well. But we take weapons and we stay together. If anything goes wrong, we run." An hour later, their small shuttle flew toward the massive warship. The Vengeance was even bigger up close. Its hull stretched out like a metal mountain. Weapon systems that could destroy planets lined its sides, but the most amazing thing was how quiet it was. For something so huge, it made no sound at all. "Docking Bay 7 is opening," said their pilot. They flew inside the warship. The docking bay was enormous, big enough to hold 50 ships like theirs. Strange lights lit up the walls and the air tasted clean and fresh. "How is there air in here?" asked Commander Bayek. "This ship has been floating in space for thousands of years." "The life support systems are still working," Dr. Kang So-ra said, checking her scanner. "Everything on this ship is still working." The ID team walked out of their shuttle. Their footsteps echoed in the huge bay. Captain Yoon Tai-ho had brought 6 of his best crew members. Besides Dr. Kang So-ra and Commander Beck, there was Lee Min-ho, a young alien tech expert who was good with computers. Lee Min-ho was looking at a wall panel covered with buttons and screens. "Captain, these controls are very advanced, but I think I can figure out how they work." "Be careful," warned Commander Bayek. We do not know what those buttons do. But Lee Min-ho was already touching the panel. He was young and curious, and he wanted to understand how the ship worked. His fingers moved over the controls, trying different combinations. I think this opens doors, he said. And this one controls lights. This is amazing technology. Suddenly the panel flashed bright red. Alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Lee Min-ho stepped back, frightened. What did you do? Shouted Captain Yoon Tae-ho. I do not know. I just touched a few buttons. The lights in the docking bay changed from white to blue. The air started to hum with energy. Then the floor began to shake. We need to leave, said Commander Bayek. Now. But before they could move, something appeared in front of them. It was a man, tall, strong, wearing a military uniform. But he was see-through, like a ghost made of light. The ghost man looked at them with sad, tired eyes. When he spoke, his voice came from speakers all around them. I am Admiral Park Hyun-sik of the Human Defense Force, he said. Welcome aboard the HDS Vengeance. Everyone stared at the ghost admiral. Captain Yoon Tae-ho's mouth hung open. Dr. Kang So-ra took a step forward. You are human, she said. Yes, I was human. Now I am something else. The admiral looked at Dr. Kang So-ra and Commander Beck. It has been a long time since I have seen my people. How long have you been on this ship? Asked Dr. Kang So-ra. The admiral was quiet for a moment. Time is hard to measure when you are dead, but I think it has been about 3,000 years. 3,000 years. Commander Beck could not believe it. But humans were not even in space 3,000 years ago. Admiral Park smiled sadly. That is true, we were not in space 3,000 years ago. But we will be in space 3,000 years from now. What do you mean? Asked Captain Yoon Tae-ho. This ship is from your future, the admiral explained. We sent it back through time to this moment, to wait for you. Dr. Kang So-ra felt dizzy. You are from the future? I was. Now I am from the past, the present, and the future all at once. The admiral started walking and they followed him. Come, I will show you why we are here. They walked through corridors that seemed to go on forever. The walls were covered with displays showing star maps, weapon systems, and data that none of them could understand. The technology was far beyond anything in the galaxy. Admiral, said Dr. Kang So-ra, why did you send this ship back in time? The ghost admiral stopped walking. Because in our time, the galaxy was dying. A great enemy was destroying every world, every species, every star. We tried to stop them, but we were too late. What enemy? Asked Commander Bayek. They call themselves the Devourers. They eat entire civilizations. They take everything, technology, knowledge, life itself. They leave only empty space behind. Lee Min-ho was recording everything with his scanner. How did you build this ship? Human technology is not this advanced. Admiral Park looked at the young alien. Human technology is exactly this advanced. We just do not show it to anyone. What? Captain Yoon Tae-ho could not believe what he was hearing. For hundreds of years, humans have been hiding their true abilities, the admiral explained. We let everyone think we are weak and simple, but we have been watching, learning, preparing. They reached the bridge of the ship. It was huge, with screens showing views of space in all directions. The command chair sat in the center, surrounded by control panels that glowed with soft light. This is where I died, said Admiral Park, where I gave up my life to power this ship and send it back through time. Dr. Kang So-ra looked around the bridge. Why are you telling us this? What do you want from us? The admiral turned to face them all. Because they are coming. The Devourers found this time, this place. They will be here soon. How soon? Asked Commander Bayek. Admiral Park pointed to a large screen. It showed space outside the ship, but now there were lights in the distance. Lots of lights moving toward them. They will be here in 6 hours, he said. And when they arrive, they will try to do the same thing they did in my time. They will try to eat your galaxy. Captain Yoon Tae-ho felt fear like ice in his chest. How many ships? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. They have been consuming civilizations for millions of years. They are very strong. Then we are all dead, whispered Lee Min-ho. Admiral Park smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Not yet. This ship was built for one purpose, to stop the Devourers. But I cannot do it alone. What do you need from us? Asked Dr. Kang So-ra. Need you to trust me. And I need you to be ready for the truth about your species. What truth? Asked Commander Beck. The Admiral looked at him with eyes that had seen the end of everything. That humans are not the weak species everyone thinks. They are. You are the galaxy's last hope. You always have been. Suddenly, alarms started ringing again. The screens showed more lights appearing in space, hundreds of them, then thousands. They are early, said Admiral Park. His ghost form started to glow brighter. The Devourers are here. End of Part 2. The enemy ships filled the space around them like angry stars. Captain Yoon Tae-ho watched the screens in horror. There were so many ships that they blocked out the real stars behind them. How many? He asked quietly. Over 5,000 ships. In the first wave, said Admiral Park. His ghost form was getting brighter as the enemy got closer. More are coming behind them. Dr. Kang So-ra stared at the screens. The enemy ships were strange, black and twisted like metal bones. They moved wrong, bending and stretching in ways that hurt to look at. What are they? She asked. The Devourers, Admiral Park said. They eat civilizations. They take the knowledge, the technology, the life force of entire worlds. Then they move on to the next target. Commander Bayek felt his hands shake. Can this ship fight all of them? This ship was built to fight all of them, the Admiral replied. But first you need to understand what you are really seeing. Another ghost appeared on the bridge. This one was a woman in an engineer's uniform. She looked tired but strong. I am Dr. Choi Hee-jin, she said. I helped build this ship's weapons. Lee. Min-ho pointed his scanner at her. Another ghost? We are not ghosts, Dr. Choi said. We are consciousness patterns stored in the ship's computer. When our bodies died, our minds became part of the ship. That is impossible, said Captain Yoon. Tae-ho. Many things about humans are impossible, Admiral Park said. That is why we win battles we should lose. The screens showed the enemy ships getting closer. They moved in perfect formations, like they were controlled by one mind. Admiral said, Commander Bayek, you said humans have been hiding their true power. What did you mean? Admiral Park walked to the center of the bridge. Show them, he told Dr. Choi. Dr. Choi touched a control panel. Suddenly the screens changed. Instead of showing the enemy ships, they showed images of human colonies throughout the galaxy. These are human settlements, Dr. Choi said. What do you see? Dr. Kang So-ra looked carefully. They look normal. Farms, cities, spaceports. Look closer. The images zoomed in. Now they could see that the farms had strange patterns. The cities had buildings that looked too perfect. The space ports had ships that were too advanced for normal human technology. Every human colony is actually a fortress, Dr. Choi explained. Every human farmer is actually a soldier. Every human trader ship carries enough weapons to destroy a moon. Captain Yoon Tae-ho felt dizzy. You have been lying to the whole galaxy? We have been protecting the whole galaxy, Admiral Park said. Humans learned long ago that if other species knew how strong we really were, they would try to destroy us first. So you pretend to be weak? We pretend to be normal. But we have been watching, waiting, preparing for the day when a real threat would come. The screens changed again, showing the approaching Devourer fleet. The lead ships were now close enough to see clearly. They were covered in weapons and had holes in their hulls where they had absorbed pieces of other ships. They are trying to talk to us, said Lee Min-ho, looking at his scanner. Let them speak, Admiral Park said. A new voice filled the bridge. It sounded like 1,000 voices talking at once, all saying the same words. Small beings in the metal shell. the voice said. "We are the Devourers. We have consumed 10,000 worlds. We have eaten the knowledge of 1,000,000 species. You will surrender your technology to us." Admiral Park smiled coldly. "Tell them no." "Admiral," Captain Yoon Tai-ho said quickly, "maybe we should talk to them. Find out what they want." "I know what they want," the Admiral replied. "They want everything. Your ships, your planets, your people, your memories. They want to eat your entire civilization and add it to their collection." The Devourer voice spoke again. "You do not answer. This is foolish. We have the stolen weapons of 100 dead races. You have one old ship. Submit now, and we will kill you quickly." Dr. Choi Hee-jin laughed. "One old ship? They have no idea what they are facing. Show them," Admiral Park ordered. Dr. Choi pressed buttons on her control panel. The Vengeance began to change. Parts of the ship that looked like normal hull opened up to reveal massive weapons. The ship grew longer as hidden sections extended out. New lights appeared all over the warship, making it look like a star. "What is happening?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. "The ship is waking up completely," Dr. Choi said. "Until now it has been sleeping. Now it remembers what it was built to do." The Devourer ships stopped moving. Even they seemed surprised by what they were seeing. "Impossible," the Devourer voice said. "This technology does not exist in this time period." "It does now," Admiral Park said to the air. "You made a mistake, Devourers. You came to the past thinking you could eat history itself. But history is protected." The first group of enemy ships started moving toward the Vengeance. There were 50 of them, each one bigger than Captain Yoon Tai-ho's exploration ship. "They are attacking," Commander Beck said. "Good," said Admiral Park. "Let them come." The enemy ships fired their weapons. Beams of red energy shot toward the Vengeance. Captain Yoon Tai-ho closed his eyes, waiting to die, but the beams hit something invisible around the Vengeance and disappeared. "What happened?" he asked. "The shields absorbed the energy," Dr. Choi explained. "Human shield technology does not just stop attacks, it eats them and makes the shield stronger." "That is impossible," said Lee Min-ho. "You keep saying that word," Admiral Park said. "But you are on a human ship. Nothing is impossible here." Now it was the Vengeance's turn to attack. Dr. Choi pressed one button. Light erupted from the human warship. But it was not normal light. It was light that cut through space itself. The 50 attacking ships simply stopped existing. They did not explode or break apart, they were just gone. "By the 7 moons, whispered Captain Yoon Tai-ho. "What kind of weapon was that?" "A reality cutter," Dr. Choi said calmly. "It removes things from existence. We invented it after the Devourers destroyed Earth in our timeline." The remaining Devourer ships pulled back. The voice spoke again, but now it sounded worried. "This is not possible. You are using technology that violates the laws of physics." "We wrote new laws," Admiral Park said. "Human laws." More enemy ships moved forward. Hundreds this time. They fired everything they had at the Vengeance. The space around the human warship filled with explosions and energy beams. But the Vengeance did not even shake. Its shields absorbed every attack and grew brighter. "How are we still alive?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. "Because this ship exists in multiple dimensions at once," Dr. Choi explained. "Most of the attacks are hitting versions of us that exist in other realities." "I do not understand," said Commander Bayek. "You do not need to understand," Admiral Saul Park said. "You just need to watch what happens when humans stop pretending to be weak." The Vengeance moved forward toward the enemy fleet. It did not fly like a normal ship. It folded space around itself and appeared in the middle of the Devourer formation. What happened next was not really a battle. It was more like a demonstration. The human warship moved through the enemy fleet like a sword through paper. Every weapon it fired removed entire groups of ships from reality. Its shields turned the enemy's own attacks into more power for its weapons. In 10 minutes, half the Devourer fleet was gone. "Retreat!" the Devourer voice screamed. "Retreat! This is not the weak species from our records." But Admiral Park was not finished. "No," he said quietly. "You came here to eat my galaxy. Now you get to learn why that was a mistake." The Vengeance began to glow even brighter. Dr. Choi looked at her controls and smiled. "Genesis Protocol is ready, Admiral." "What is the Genesis Protocol?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. Admiral Park looked at her with eyes that had seen the end of everything. "It is the weapon that rewrites reality itself. We are about to show these devourers what happens when you threaten human space." End of Part 3. The Genesis Protocol began to charge up. The entire Vengeance shook as power flowed through its systems. Dr. Choi Hyojin worked at her controls, her ghost hands moving quickly over the buttons. "What exactly does this weapon do?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. "It changes the rules of reality in a small area of space," Dr. Choi explained. "Inside that area, we decide what is possible and what is not." Captain Yoon Tai-ho could not believe what he was hearing. "You can change reality? Humans can do many things when they need to," Admiral Park said. "We just choose not to most of the time." The remaining Devourer ships were trying to escape, but more were arriving. The space around them filled with thousands of enemy vessels. They came from all directions, surrounding the lone human warship. "Admiral," said Commander Beck, "there are too many of them now. Even with our weapons, how can one ship fight an entire fleet?" Admiral Park smiled. "Who said we only have one ship?" Another ghost appeared on the bridge. This one was a man in Nairi-Tiu, an engineer's uniform with tired eyes but strong hands. "I am Engineer Lim Subin," he said. "I have something to show you." The screens changed to show space around the Vengeance, but now there were more human warships appearing. Ships that looked exactly like the Vengeance but slightly different. "Where did they come from?" asked Lee Min-ho. "They have always been here," Engineer Lim said. "The Vengeance exists in many realities at the same time. Now all versions of our ship are fighting together." Dr. Kang So-ra counted the ships on the screen. "There are dozens of them." "There are thousands," Engineer Lim corrected. "Every version of the Vengeance that could exist, should exist, or might exist is here now." The Devourer voice spoke again, but now it sounded afraid. "This is impossible. You cannot have so many ships." "We do not have many ships," Admiral Park replied. "We have one ship that exists everywhere at once." The battle began for real now. The multiple versions of the Vengeance moved through space like a pack of hunting animals. Each ship fought differently, but they all moved together like they shared one mind. The Devourers fired everything they had: planet-killer weapons, reality bombs, weapons stolen from dead civilizations across the galaxy. The space around the human ships filled with explosions bigger than stars. But the Vengeance ships absorbed every attack. Their shields grew brighter with each hit. Their weapons grew stronger with each enemy shot they absorbed. "How is this possible?" Captain Yoon Tai-ho asked. "Human technology learns," Dr. Choi said. "Every time an enemy attacks us, our systems study the attack and become immune to it. The more they shoot at us, the stronger we get." One group of Devourer ships tried to use their special weapon, a beam that ate the life force out of living things. It had destroyed entire planets in the original timeline. The beam hit one of the Vengeance ships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship began to glow even brighter. "What happened?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. "The ship ate their life drain weapon and turned it into more power," Engineer Lim explained. "Now we can use their own weapon against them." The human warship fired the life drain beam back at the Devourer fleet, but when humans used it, the weapon worked differently. Instead of killing, it drained the evil from the enemy ships and left them empty and powerless. Hundreds of Devourer ships just stopped moving. They floated in space like dead metal, all the stolen life force drained out of them. "Impossible," screamed the Devourer voice. "Our weapons cannot be turned against us." "Your weapons can," Admiral Park said calmly. "But they are our weapons now." The battle continued for hours. The Devourers threw everything they had at the human ships. Weapons that could crack moons, bombs that could destroy suns, reality warping. Devices that made space itself twist and break. Nothing worked. The Vengeance ships absorbed every attack and became stronger. They moved through the enemy fleet like death itself. removing entire groups of ships from existence with each shot. But then something new appeared on the screens. A ship so big it looked like a small moon. It was covered in weapons and had the twisted, bone-like appearance of all Devourer technology, but much worse. "What is that?" whispered Commander Beck. The Devourer voice spoke again, but now it sounded different. Older, more powerful. "I am the first Devourer," it said. "I have eaten 1,000,000 worlds. I have consumed the knowledge of 1,000,000,000 species. You cannot defeat me." "We will see," Admiral Park said. The giant ship fired its main weapon, the same planet killer beam that had destroyed Earth in the original timeline. The beam was so powerful, it made space itself burn. All the versions of the Vengeance moved to block the beam. Their shields flared as they absorbed the massive attack. For a moment it looked like the shields might break, but they held. And when the light faded, the human ships were still there, glowing brighter than ever. "Now it is our turn," Dr. Choi said. The Genesis protocol finally finished charging. All the versions of the Vengeance pointed their main weapons at the first Devourer's ship. "Genesis protocol activate," Admiral Park ordered. What happened next was beyond description. Reality itself bent around the first Devourer. The laws of physics stopped working normally. The giant ship began to shrink, not because it was being destroyed, but because the space around it was being rewritten. "What are you doing?" the first Devourer screamed. "We are writing you out of existence," Dr. Choi said calmly. "In this area of space you never existed. You never will exist. You cannot exist." The first Devourer's ship tried to fight back, but its weapons could not work in space where the rules had been changed. Its hull began to fade like it was becoming a ghost. "This is impossible. I am eternal. I have always existed." "Not anymore," Admiral Park said. The giant ship disappeared, not destroyed, not blown up, simply gone, as if it had never been built. The remaining Devourer ships stopped fighting. Their voice came over the communication system one last time. "We surrender. We will leave this galaxy. We will never return." "No," Admiral Park said quietly. "You will not leave. You will not go to another galaxy to eat more civilizations. Your time is over." The Genesis protocol expanded. Reality changed throughout the entire area of space where the battle was taking place. Every Devourer ship, every Devourer weapon, every trace of their civilization simply stopped existing. The space around them became quiet and clean, with only the multiple versions of the Vengeance floating among the stars. "It is finished, Admiral," Park said. Dr. Kang Sora looked around the bridge. "Are they all gone?" "From this timeline, yes. From all timelines, yes. The Genesis protocol removed them from reality itself. They never existed, so they can never exist again." Captain Yoon Tae-ho sat down heavily in a chair. "What happens now?" Admiral Park began to fade. His ghost form was becoming transparent. "Now, the timeline is fixed. The Devourers are gone from past, present, and future. My mission is complete." "You are leaving?" asked Dr. Kang Sora. "I can finally rest. But before I go, there is something you all need to know." The Admiral looked at Commander Bayek and Dr. Kang Sora. This was not just about stopping the Devourers. This was about showing the galaxy what humans really are. You are not weak. You are not simple. You are the guardians of all life in this galaxy. "What do you mean?" asked Commander Beck. "You will understand soon," Admiral Park said as he continued to fade. "Others are coming. Others who will try to hurt the innocent. When they come, remember what you saw here. Remember that humans are not what they appear to be." The Ghost Admiral smiled one last time. "Tell my people, tell all humans, that it is time to stop hiding. The galaxy needs its guardians now." Admiral Park disappeared, finally at peace. The battle was over, but Dr. Kang Sora knew that their real journey was just beginning. End of Part 4. 3 days after the battle, Captain Yoon Tae-ho sat in his command chair, still trying to understand what had happened. The Vengeance floated nearby, quiet now that its mission was complete. The multiple versions of the ship had faded away, leaving only the original. "Captain," his communications officer called out, "we are receiving a signal from the edge of the system." "What kind of signal?" "Human ships, sir. Lots of them." Dr. Kang So-ra and Commander Beck rushed to the bridge. Through the main screen they could see lights approaching from deep space. As the ships got closer, they could see that each one was as advanced as the Vengeance. "How many ships?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. "Over 100, the officer replied. "And more are coming." The lead ship was bigger than the others. It sent a message to Captain Yoon Tae-ho's ship. "This is President John Mi-young of the Human Colonial Authority. We request permission to come aboard." Commander Bayek looked surprised. "The Human Colonial Authority? I have never heard of that." "Because it was secret," Dr. Kang So-ra said quietly. "Until now." An hour later, President John Mi-young walked onto their bridge. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes, but she carried herself like someone used to commanding fleets. Behind her walked a tall man in a military uniform covered with medals. "I am Grand Admiral Shin Jae-ho," the man said, "commander of the Human Defense Fleet." Captain Yoon Tae-ho stared at them. "Human Defense Fleet? But humans only have a few dozen ships." President Jeon smiled. "Captain, humans have over 10,000 warships. We have been building them in secret for 200 years. "Why?" asked Dr. Kang So-ra. "Because we knew this day would come," Grand Admiral Shin replied. "We knew that someday something would threaten the galaxy, something too big for anyone species to handle alone. So you prepared?" "We did more than prepare," President Jeon said. "We became the galaxy's secret guardians. Every human colony, every human trading post, every human explorer ship, they were all part of the defense network." Lee Min-ho pointed his scanner at the president. "You have technology in your body, advanced technology. All humans do," she said. "We are stronger than we look, faster than we seem, smarter than we act. We have been improving ourselves for generations, but we kept it secret." "Why keep it secret?" asked Captain Yoon Tae-ho. Grand Admiral Shin looked out at the stars. "Because power corrupts. If other species knew how strong we really were, they would fear us. And if humans knew how powerful we could be, some of them might decide to use that power to rule instead of protect. So you hid your strength?" "We hid our strength so we could use it for good when the time came," President Jeon said. "The Vengeance was not just a weapon. It was a test to see if we were ready to reveal ourselves." Dr. Kang So-ra understood. "And we passed the test." "You did more than pass," Grand Admiral Shin said. "You proved that humans will sacrifice everything to protect others. Even our future selves were willing to die to save a past they would never see." "What happens now?" asked Commander Bayek. President Jeon walked to the main screen and looked out at space. "Now we stop hiding. The galaxy will learn that humans are not the weak species they thought we were. We will take our place as the protectors of all peaceful life." "Will other species accept that?" asked Captain Yoon Tae-ho. "They will have to," Grand Admiral Shin said. "Because we are not asking permission. We are accepting responsibility." The screen showed more human ships arriving. Dozens then, hundreds then thousands. Ships of all sizes, from small fighters to massive dreadnoughts bigger than the Vengeance. "Every human colony is revealing itself," President John explained. "Every hidden fortress, every secret base, every disguised weapon. For the first time in our history, the galaxy will see humanity as we really are." Dr. Kang So-ra watched the Ao ships gather. "What about the other species? What about the Galactic Coalition?" "They will be invited to join the new order," President John said. "An order where the strong protect the weak, where advanced species help primitive ones, where no one is left to face extinction alone." "And if they refuse?" Grand Admiral Shin's expression grew hard. "Then they will learn why it is a bad idea to threaten innocent people when humans are watching." A new voice came over the communication system. It was Dr. Choi Hee-jin from the Vengeance. "President John, this is Dr. Choi. The ship's mission is complete. We are ready to shut down the consciousness systems." Wait, said Dr. Kang Sora. You are going to die? We died long ago, Dr. Choi replied. We stayed only to complete our mission. Now we can rest. Before you go, President John said, is there anything you want us to tell the galaxy? Dr. Choi was quiet for a moment. Tell them that the future is not fixed. Tell them that as long as there are those willing to fight for others, hope never dies. And tell them that humanity will always be watching. The Vengeance began to power down. Its lights grew dim. Its systems went quiet. The ghost ship that had saved the galaxy became just a ship again, empty and silent. But its message lived on. Over the next few days, the news spread throughout the galaxy. Humans were not weak. They were not primitive. They had been the secret guardians of galactic civilization for centuries. Some species were angry at being deceived. Others were grateful for being protected. But all of them understood one thing. The galaxy had changed forever. Commander Bayek was promoted to admiral and given command of the first openly human dreadnought. Dr. Kang Sora became humanity's chief, representative to the Galactic Coalition. Captain Yoon Tai-ho returned to his people with stories that no one would believe, except now everyone had to believe them. Lee Min-ho asked to join the human fleet. I want to learn how you built such amazing technology, he said. We will teach you, President John promised, and your people and any species that wants to learn. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. Months later, Dr. Kang Sora stood on the bridge of a human space station, looking out at the galaxy. Ships from dozens of species worked together, building new defenses, sharing technology, preparing for whatever threats might come from the dark spaces between stars. Do you think we did the right thing? She asked Grand Admiral Shin, who was standing beside her. I think we did the only thing we could do, he replied. We revealed ourselves to save everyone. Now we have to prove that we deserve the trust they are giving us. And if new threats come? The Admiral smiled. Then they will learn the same lesson the Devourers learned. The galaxy is protected. It has always been protected. And it always will be. Far away, in the empty space where the battle had been fought, something flickered. For just a moment, the ghost of the Vengeance appeared, its hull glowing softly in the starlight. Admiral Park Hyun-sik stood on its bridge one last time, looking out at a galaxy that was safe because of his sacrifice. He smiled, finally at peace, and faded away forever. The ghost ship disappeared, but its legacy lived on. Humanity had revealed itself not as conquerors, but as guardians. The galaxy was safe, and it would stay safe, because humans were watching. They always had been. They always would be. The end. True power is not about having the strongest weapon. It is about having the wisdom to use that weapon only when you must, and only to protect those who cannot protect themselves. From the Human Defense Code.